So here we go, the match, race one. The defender, Emirates Team New Zealand on port. Rossa, Prada, Pirelli will come in on starboard in 2 minutes for the start of the race. All right, let's get some feeling of what it's like under the course. Shirley Robertson out on chase one. What's the feeling right now as we head towards race one?
Oh, Stephen, you can feel, almost taste the quiet tension, the anticipation out here today. From the hundreds of spectator boats lining the racetrack to both of the teams, going through their pre-race checks and routines, just like they always do. But today is different. Today it counts, and you can really feel that. Two nations on the opposite side of the world, their fans on the edge of their seats, waiting, like all of us, to see just what their teams have brought to this historic battle. As Kenny said, we're on the back paddock, coursey, and conditions look great. 12 knots, not straightforward. I think plenty of action to be had on this racetrack. Stephen, the stage is set.
It is a magnificent stage. We see the flag of the Circolo della Bella Sicilia, the club that Rossa present, a fabled club, a racing club and a yacht club. And remember, they are friendly nations competing, but we said in our preview yesterday, well, not so friendly when you talk about the America's Cup. What a sight it makes. The spectator fleet is out. They have been waiting for this. Oh gosh, I wish I could do that. And there, well, there's the lone Italian supporters out there, but we're ready for the race match to give us an all clear for race one of the match. And the America's Cup, wow, tension.
This is the race committee. The wind sampling period is complete, and this race will start on schedule. Course 6.
So we will have 6 legs of this first race as we see the stadium set. Kenny Reid, I mean, how are you feeling right now?
Well, it's the day we've all been waiting for. You know, all the hype, all the speculation, all the guesswork. You just toss it out the window. No need to throw your competitors off the scent for speed anymore, David. It's just time to show it to the world. You got to lay it all out there. For sure, they're holding back some things all the time. We're always talking about keeping their toys in the toy bin, but hey, the toys are all latched on right now, and they're ready to go.
Yeah, you're 100% right. There is no holding back today. They've been holding back for 4 years. They've been hiding things from each other, showing it at various moments, pulling it back, and now we're about a minute from entry here, and man, guys, I'm excited. I'm a bit nervous. I don't know what's going to happen today.
Wherever you are watching this around the world, we are extremely grateful to be bringing this to you. 196 countries around the world. If you're just learning this game, you see that boat there will come up from the left-hand side, the port side. They're allowed to come into the start area. That's Emirates Team New Zealand, and 2 minutes and 10 seconds. And then from the 2-minute mark, the boat coming on the right-hand side. The start will be Rossa, Prada, Pirelli. And this is one moment where all the chatter has been about starts. How much practice, how much better Peter Burling and Glenn Tuke and Glenn Ashby got their starts right.
Yeah, this is the very hyped moment. A lot of speculation that the challengers, Rossa, might be a little more race hardened and ready for this type of action. But now we get to find out.
In come on port entry, the defender, Emirates Team New Zealand. And now the games begin. You can see on the right-hand side, they're allowed in 2 minutes. Will be Rossa, Prada, Pirelli, the challenger of record. Here they come.
Let me know when you want to go, Kicker.
3, 2, 1, go down.
Okay, turning. Positive 3.
Faccio 14 nodi. Normal drive, boys.
Okay, he's coming up.
And a 1 now. Run away from each other. Will they attack each other? The speculation on the streets here is that Spithill and Bruni might try to attack, find a little bit of a weakness in the Kiwis in this mode. But and you found out pretty quick down in Bermuda. Brewing is a quick study.
He's a very quick study. He's rolling into the jibe. Bruni and Jimmy trying to jump here. They could be a little bit early on the way back. Let's just follow this all the way back to the side. Here the onwards
Coming up. 5 save. Full speed. Coming up. Watch the track, TP. Yep.
Each.
Speed here.
Right, round up.
Coming up.
Pretty
He's up inside us, so we're flying forward up.
High mode. Yeah.
Full speed us.
I think the Kiwis are in an interesting spot right now. This is high slow mode that we've seen.
Can we swing there?
Pull off so well. Can we actually get the Kiwis off their foils?
2 on 10. Next on me. Next on me.
Okay, bit going.
Yeah.
Release the jib.
Okay, back it here, boys, and we're good.
It's coming down a little.
Race it in.
Okay, coming up hard. Full of wild.
So you've got the 5 lengths and a half gauge, please.
Yeah.
Copy. That'll be right.
March 10, 2021, race 1 of the 36th America's Cup match. Emirates Team New Zealand, Luna Rossa, Prada Pirelli. No more secrets, it's all out in the open.
Yeah, copy.
Stephen, this is the moment that every America's Cup cycle waits for
Actually, could be a
anxiously.
little off
That
here.
first lineup, give
Stand
the
by.
first bit of the advantage to
Okay, high
Emirates
mode now.
Team New
Pitch right
Zealand
coming up.
to
Yeah,
its
yeah.
speed and pace.
We flag this, Keko.
Yes.
Protest.
Pressing.
Build. Big build.
Matching attack, guys.
There from Luna Rossa, going for the luck, really trying to get a penalty there. If they don't get the penalty, they're pretty much thrown away the lead. And there you go, no penalty. So big advantage to Emirates Team New Zealand already in this race.
2.
Down to it. 2, 1. Put down.
There. Wow, very surprising. I would call that a desperate move, but I don't know if they were ever going to get that, were they?
Clearly the umpires
No,
thought
she's normal,
there was
mate.
nothing in it. Shirley, you're on the water. How close did that luff
He's
look
there
to
on
you?
90, we're slightly quicker.
Yeah, I mean,
Three boats trying to
we're right
filter
behind
the
them. I mean, I felt the same thing. It was a desperate move. Luna
Yeah,
Rossa
big press on
hadn't
that
quite
page, yeah,
executed that start, you know, as well as we'd seen before. They were slower than the
Pressure on
opposition.
here.
And, they're on the back foot now.
Try a little more can. Coming up, feels alright.
Yeah.
Let's go back,
Oh,
take
when
a
he
look
comes
at
back.
where they
Yeah,
wanted to
copy
protest.
Pressure.
Pause through again.
Yeah, the boat on the left-hand side has right away. The boat on the right-hand
flag this,
side
Keko?
has to stay out of the way. The umpires deemed the boat on
Protest.
the right-hand side, or Emirates Team
Build.
New Zealand did stay
Build.
out of the way.
We flag.
Really aggressive move by Jimmy
Protest.
Smith. Remember, there was the
Pressing.
dual helm situation. Luna Rossa, Prada Pirelli. Jimmy's on the right-hand side. That was his call and his move, and it did.
When we talk about this fabled line about no second, little moments, little mistakes in the match now are going to be incredibly costly.
Yeah, crossing.
Luna Rossa also didn't pull the trigger very well, like Shirley said.
Trimming up a little, actually.
They were a little bit behind.
I travel.
But we've still got
Yep,
a real
block her in
judge
here,
of
boys.
pace right now. Let's see if they can keep this 150 or so meter.
There we got a G-spot,
lead.
run a little
Let's
righty.
keep it attached right now. Let's not do anything crazy.
Hey, stand by attack.
Split. Is a level. Yeah.
3, 2, 1.
Standing by. 3, 2, 1. Forward coming down.
Distance travel on the left-hand side. What leads we're on the we're on the first of 6 legs, and VMG, the Rossi man, all too critical here.
I travel.
As tight an angle to the wind as you can get without losing too much speed. The higher the VMG number, the better.
Something in the right looks a bit more solid for the moment.
And the Squadron, what did you make of that start, and what are you seeing on this first leg, Lee?
Yeah, good call.
Standing by. 5.
It's Kiko, the breeze off on the right, looking a little bit more solid.
Forward coming down.
And yeah, I mean, it doesn't look like there's a lot in it boat speed wise. It's interesting they're putting a few tacks in, maybe sizing each other on, see who's got the better kind of boat speeds and the tacks and what have you. So yeah, I mean, there's not a lot in it from up here at the moment.
My rudder.
Heli Mitchell in the flight controller for Emirates Team UK, and Heli won the for us here in this opening race of the match 2021 on the Howden goes out on the back paddock as we head towards the first gate number 1 of 6, and it's the defender Emirates Team New Zealand. After an aggressive start, we expected aggression. Jimmy Spittle tried his best to be aggressive, tried to protest, no penalty given, and it's advantage right now at this very early stage to Emirates Team New Zealand. And they will come around the mark ahead of the challenger record. Continue to discover. Look at these AC75s. They steer these things like race cars without a blink of an eye. And we just check the gap now. That was the upwind leg. What's going to be like downwind? Both these boats. These are quick boats. Remember, both these teams had a hand in designing these 75-footers. 14 seconds the gap for Emirates Team New Zealand at the top gate.
Believe it or not, I actually think after the penalty was not allowed by the umpires, I think it was actually almost a little bit of a win for the Italians, Nathan. They didn't get smoked. The word around town, there's been crazy numbers about how fast or what the PMG number is of this boat. The Italians hung in there okay. They kind of got behind about 150 meters or so. It always stretches out a bit more on the run. They didn't lose much more on that beat.
No, you're right, Kenny. There wasn't a whole lot in upwind, and it's always hard for the boat trailing on the updrafts. They end up doing a little bit more distance. They often sell a bit of dirty air. So if you're holding with the guy ahead of you, then your speed's pretty good. I think what's going to be telling now is what's going to happen downwind here. The lead's already stretching a little bit. Boat speed numbers look really similar from there, so it's clearly an angle difference right now, or they're gapping out a bit.
Long this way.
Surely right now the main issue that we've seen this race so far was that penalty.
A little better
penalty.
Well, we haven't heard too much from Emirates Team New Zealand. Let's go on board as they head on the downward leg. Leg number 2.
Come into a little more breeze. Heavy breeze. What are you thinking of the upwind? I don't know. Touch and go whether it's getting to the delay. Copy. We'll just see when he goes. Okay. Looks like we're sailing into the back of nice pressure down here, so happy right turn. Yeah.
The voices of
during the right
kind of the brain trust, trying to figure out where to position this boat on the race course, how many jibes, how to minimize maneuvers. We haven't heard from them in a while.
We haven't heard them from a long time now. Let's go on board Luna Rossa, because now they are chasing boat speeds well. Interesting, they look pretty similar going down.
The moment is joining left gate.
Yeah, copy.
They've been behind it all the time, I can tell you that. I think they won 11 of 12 in the Challenger Series, so this is not a position that they are familiar with at all.
Down.
This is leg number 2 of race 1 in the match. The Emirates Cup, the older mark. The downward leg. Emirates Team New Zealand, the defender, stretch their lead. Well, you're sitting around 370, 380 meters on Luna Rossa.
Pretty even, I should just take the easy option. Copy. Your call on board, I'm happy 1 at this. Happy 1 and 12. Transition now.
Emirates Team New Zealand, Terehotai, about to complete the second leg in this opening race. 14 seconds ahead at the top gate. What will it be as they head to start leg number 3? Around they go. Throwing it around is Peter Burley.
Trying to make sure we get on the breeze here. A little bit splitting, I don't think we can make it. Got a bit to cut, but nice rounding boys. All right.
Stand by, boys. 2 for
And
2.
in comes
1
Luna Rossa. Prada Cup. The gap has lengthened. 14 in the first mark. It's 33 seconds at the second gate.
Rest.
That one extra maneuver was a little bit costly for the Italians. It's probably cost them a few seconds, but still, surely, it still looks like the Italians are just kind of hanging in there. Nobody's getting smoked out there right now. There isn't a massive speed differences.
No, you're right. I mean, we didn't really know what to expect, and watching the Kiwis trading for the past 2 months, they have looked fast, and we did wonder if that might be the case, but not much in it at all. Perhaps on the downward leg, slightly able to sail a little bit deeper, the Kiwis, but you know, we wondered if they would be a bit race rusty, but there's been no signs of that. Very polished execution by the Kiwi bowlers. Very relaxed racing, even just listening to them on board. You know, they're going to need a bit of a hard time still, just like they're out on a training run, but this is for sure a long way from being over.
Yeah, Shirley, you're absolutely right.
As you balance there, mate.
Pretty calm and composed at the moment. They're not even engaging in a lot of match racing right now. The first upwind, they were definitely covering Rossa when they had opportunities, but right now they're starting their own race. Hey, Lee, up in the helicopter, can you see anything on the race course, anything obvious from that perspective of avenues for Luna Rossa to get back into this at the moment?
Well, I mean, I think the Kiwis are heading for the better breeze at the moment on the right-hand side. It does look a little bit more consistent over there. So I'd be surprised to see Prada kind of come all the way to the left. But like you said, I think on the downwind, and Shirley commented, it looked like the Kiwis were just able to step down a little bit on depth. Similar speeds, but yeah, now they're kind of just sailing a bit of their own race.
This is the voice of Lee McMillan, flight controller for Emirates Team UK, who were beaten by Luna Rossa in the Prada Cup final. This is the big show right here. We're about to complete the halfway stage of race 1 in the match.
A little bit more power.
Take the stern camera on at Luna Rossa Prada Press just to look at those numbers.
Starting to get a little header. 3, 2, 1.
Hi Ray, hi Trav. Good pressure here.
Hi Trav.
Always very calm and composed. Luna Rossa Prada Press. That was the big improver coming through round robin and into the Prada Cup final. They running the twin helm situation. That seemed to be the real talking point. The gap's done, tighten up a little bit.
Came back into him a little bit. Maybe that right side of the race course didn't quite pan out. It is amazing how these guys tend to sail their own race. They aren't big on that quote match racing, that tight tactics which we've seen other boats handle during the event.
One thing you notice is the pressure you see on the face of the flight control of Emirates.
I was sitting at the front of the boat. He's the guy at the front of the bobsled, so to speak. That's all the wind coming in his face. That's why he's wearing the goggles. And you'd imagine these guys have been waiting for this race for a long time. There's a lot of pressure on them internally and also externally, and they don't want to let down anyone. So far so good. Luna Rossa look like they're still coming into them a little bit, but pretty comfortable lead right now for Emirates Team New Zealand.
Happy to go straight in, if you are.
We are about to complete the halfway mark of the opening race in the America's Cup match 2021, the 36th edition of the America's Cup. The defender, Emirates Team New Zealand, about to complete the halfway stage. And right-hand markers, we see it on screen. Around they go. It's still fingers bleeding. They throw these around. Kenny, I'm constantly fascinated by it.
10 knots of breeze, going 47 knots of boat speed around the corner.
Question has Luna Rossa made up some time. It was 23 seconds. And going into it, they have made up a smidge. Now 19 seconds. It's downwind. Emirates Team New Zealand look pretty good on leg 2. Let's see on leg 4.
We've got a good split here between the two boats. The first lap, Prada were pretty much doing the same track around the course. Now you can see both boats going to jive on far boundaries. And this is an opportunity for the boat behind. If they can get a little in phase with the shifts in the breeze, they might be able to make a small gain down this run.
There's talk about maybe a speed edge downwind for this boat because of those small foils. And Lee McMillan up in the helicopter, we were talking earlier today, you think there are about 30% smaller foils underwater on the Kiwi boat than there is on the Italian boat. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. The wings are significantly smaller. They kind of package the area with more lead in the bulb and up the foil arm, the bulge in the trailing edge there. So smaller area, kind of higher speed takeoffs. Slick looking kit, but I mean, you can see like the performance-wise, Prada have actually done really well. They're still in this, and it doesn't look like there's a lot between them performance-wise in a straight line, upwind or downwind.
Seems like we're in phase lately, boys, so keep pushing.
It's a nice looking boat, that Emirates Team New Zealand. It's designed for aerodynamics. Just looking at it head on there as a camera boat went past it, and you can see those foils. They look very small, particularly like the wing, but also the vertical part. There's been a lot of talk about the design of those foils. We haven't seen them until today, because when we saw these guys race in December, they were on their second set of foils. So this is their America's Cup race set of foils, and so far they look like they're doing the job, boys.
Yeah, you know, Shirley, it's interesting. One boat has a decent lead right now, but frankly, the other boat isn't going away. So for us as sports people, this could be a series. I mean, my first inclination here is this could be a series. This is not a runaway train for the Kiwis right now.
I'm right there with you, Kenny. Basically, the Italians made a slight error on the start, and they made that punchy call to go for a rule infringement. But they haven't been left behind. They are both sailing the boats so incredibly well. It's very, very impressive to watch.
Emirates Team New Zealand about to complete 4 legs of this opening race in the match of the 36th America's Cup. And around they go, the mark again, and just get back to business. 2 to go.
Yeah, we're going to do it, Jake.
Rossa, Prada Pirelli.
Very nice stuff on the bow.
Looks like it's setting up for another split again.
2, 1. Turning here.
17 seconds, the gaps. They've taken 2 seconds out of the lead and the downward leg. Now, we've been talking a lot about the twin helm of Luna Rossa and how composed and how strong it looks, but you take a look at what happens with Emirates Team New Zealand. We talk about efficiency. Watch Peter Miller here. There we go. Subtlety.
You think you'd know where that track was by now?
Yeah.
Hey, obviously, Lee, a left-hand shift. Both boats spun themselves onto port tack here. But again, the Italians are not going away.
No, that's right. It's closer, if I'm honest, than I thought it was going to be in these conditions. It's the boats are fully powered up. It's not particularly light. You would have thought you would have seen the Kiwis kind of pulling away a little bit more than they are in these conditions, and being out in front and having the freedom to make their decisions and sail clean. So, like you've said, I think there's a bit of a race on here. It's going to get very interesting.
Making you think. Let's just go back to that start for a second and that windward leeward luff. It seems, I don't know, first race of just a little more build here, the next most important event of your life, in the America's Cup, and it just seemed like a really high-risk move that really didn't have much of a chance from the inset.
Yeah, well, my coaches has always told me myself, you don't want to be rolling the dice or putting a race into the umpire's hands, and you don't want to be doing it 10 seconds after the start. You want to, today is about checking into the competition. Is your boat competitive enough to win? And the moment that Jimmy Spittle went for that luff to try and draw that penalty, he was either going to get the penalty and get in front, or he was going to be behind, and he was never going to get a proper speed check on the other boat. Had he luffed and realised he wasn't going to get it, just dropped it on the tack, he might have got a split, and we would have had a 50-metre deficit. But instead, we had 150 metres, and now it's bouncing between 200 and 300. So
as we've learned, these boats, their sailing skills have created perfection in watching these boats go around the race course. We saw Peter Burling have a little trip there, but from the sail packages, these twin skin mainsails, down to the foil packages, the speeds these boats are seeing, the VMGs that they create, they're sailing them so perfectly. You can't expect a mistake by the other guy to help you get back into it anymore. It's really tough. We haven't seen a pass even in a long time.
No, we haven't.
Kenny, I think the only way you really get a mistake out of your competition is to put them under pressure.
Right.
And
they
so
took that away.
Yeah, and at the moment that happens, they now can't put them under pressure. So they kind of made it really easy for Team New Zealand to sail a very simple first race in the America's Cup. It's now only if they make a mistake on their own back.
Rush of adrenaline in the opening leg, maybe by Luna Rossa pushing the boundaries. Why not? Everybody's pent up. They always talk about the start, don't they? Everybody's adrenaline's rushing. You want to do something.
little bit lighter now.
I think there's a big left shift right now. Look at these meters coming down quite quickly. Lee, can you see a big shift from the helicopter at the moment?
One, good pressure here.
Another one hugely significant coming in here. So looks like the Kiwis are on lay line there, but again, like Prada are right in it. They maybe have made a little click back there, so it could be kind of a bit of a shift to the left.
Incredible that the Kiwis just are not engaging in any sort of kind of boat-on-boat tactics. Very different from that series that we saw lead between yourselves and the Italians.
Yeah, I wonder, you know, if they've been looking at the attacking data and realised, you know, Prada were pretty quick with those manoeuvres. So, yeah, just over
3, 2, 1.
Emirates Team New Zealand. Penultimate leg done in race number 1 of the America's Cup match, and 1 leg to go. Have Luna Rossa, Prada Pirelli eaten into that very small lead? It was 17 seconds at gate 4, Wallaby at gate 5. It's not too much more. And more. 20 seconds the gap. And it's the run home to take first blood of the match.
Stand by job. 2, 1.
Check the breeze. Right, we are in a righty, same as before probably.
Moving
up.
A little bit more unstable pressure, no?
Okay, main sheet, main goal.
Just amazing how calm, cool, and collected these teams. Every time we jump on board, we're expecting more chatter. All of us who sail at home, all of us sail in our Yacht Club series, we know what kind of chatter can break out in a boat during a boat race. But man, oh man, are these guys calm, cool, and collected.
Yep. Emirates Team New Zealand on the last leg of this opening race, and they've extended their lead. It's the biggest lead we've seen so far in this race, sitting around 430 metres. We're out on the back course, course E, the back paddock, as they call it here locally.
Little pace up the speed.
On the right-hand side, we have Glenn Ashby in the bottom box, and Peter Burling driving the boat in the top box, actually looking over his shoulder a little bit for once. They haven't really looked behind very much, Nathan. They tend to always be focused forward. Maybe that's one of their strategies, like Lee was saying. Maybe they do think that Luna Rossa is a good maneuvering boat, and they don't want to fall for it and get into that kind of game.
Well, you could easily think that if you've got smaller foils, they're designed to sort of go fast. And every time you do tacks and jibes, you get bottom speeds, and that's when the bigger foils might have the small advantage. So look at that foil there. Tips just piercing the water. That join between the white part of the foil and the black part of the foil. It's all critical, that design. And that's what dozens of designers in that team and sailors have been thinking about this whole last few years.
You were misting over. You started to mist it over. You flipped over those foils, didn't you?
Tripping all over my words just as I looked at those foils and thought, man, they're really cool.
And that lead gets further for Emirates Team New Zealand. Here we go. It is race 1 of the match.
Round up off the mark.
And Emirates Team New Zealand, the defender. It is race 1 and done. The W goes in the corner for Emirates Team New Zealand, and they get first points in the opening race of the match for the 36th America's Cup.
3, 2, 1, coming up.
Not too far, boys. They're not too far.
Here, Francesco Bruni saying, not too far, boys, not too far. That means they understand the same thing we've been talking about. They were not off the pace.
But in the end, the gap is a large one in terms of winning. 31 seconds. The closest they got in the race was the Prada Pirelli.
Security for the next one.
Top gate on 14 seconds. So strong win for Emirates Team New Zealand in race 1 of the match of the 36th America's Cup.
Photo is going well.
Confirmation of the result. Emirates Team New Zealand get the 1 point. Remember, the first to 7 wins, lifts up the trophy. 31 seconds, a win to Emirates Team New Zealand over the challenger of record.